Singapore Saloon Movie Summary in English. Let's begin. Kathir, a professional barber, feels suicidal inside his saloon. He drops some sleeping pills into his alcoholic drink. He then recalls his past. Kathir and Bashir are best friends in Tengkasi. The village had a barber, Cha-Cha, who owned Singapore Saloon. At a young age, Kathir was angry at him after he made his head bald and circumcised Bashir. After a while, Kathir grows fond of Cha-Cha's techniques and becomes friends. In 10th grade, Kathir falls in love with Nilavati, the daughter of one of Cha-Cha's customers. Eventually, Neela's father finds out. Neela and her father leave town, and Cha-Cha reprimands Kathir, and Cha-Cha decides to teach Kathir the trick of the trade. In 12th grade, Cha-Cha eventually leaves town, but Cha-Cha leaves his box with Kathir. His father motivates him to go college and study so he can mature. So, both Kathir and Bashir go to college. Kathir falls in love with Nilarathi, and Nilarathi reciprocates after Kathir helps style her hair for a play. However, Kathir rejects a job offer from a successful company because of his passion for becoming a hairstylist. Nilarathi calls Kathir and his father. However, Nilarathi rejects a marriage proposal between herself and Kathir because of Kathir's profession. Kathir then gets a job at Wink Saloon, which Anup Menon, a famous hairstylist, owns. Bashir marries his college girlfriend, Hasina. One day, when Suresh Chandra Menon visits the saloon, he sees Kathir's haircutting style and decides to get a haircut from him. Anup sees Menon's impressive hairstyle. Anup is impressed by Kathir and decides to promote him to a senior stylist with a 50k salary. Kathir eventually marries Nilavolil, his college junior, who is impressed at his hairstyling. He decides to buy a property for a new saloon, but Bashir's friend says it costs 3.5 crores. His father decided to sell the house for 0.5 crores, but his father-in-law is only willing to provide 300 rupees for the purchase. After some comedic incidents, Chakrapani, in a drunken state, rewrites the check for 3 crores for Kathir to buy the place. Chakrapani eventually realizes what he did the following day. Eventually, the construction of the saloon and the interior design gets completed. Anup visits Chakrapani and decides to buy the saloon for 6 crores. However, after Neela reveals the news to Kathir, he says he is unwilling to sell his identity. Chakrapani overhears the conversation and feels guilty. However, one rainy day, Raghavan, Bashir, and Kathir witness the new-built flats crumble and fall in front of their eyes. The slum people moved into Kathir's land after the floods, which affected their village. A few weeks later, the financier threatens Kathir's friends and family to give the money, so Hasina offers jewels. However, Kathir gets pickpocket. Present, as Kathir is about to drink the alcohol, a guy appears at the door, introducing himself. Thiruvannamalai, Arvind Swami, appears at the door and motivates him that his saloon is a landmark and should make people come to him. He also reminds him there used to be a banyan tree full of parrots on the land where the saloon stands, so he says to feed the parrots. Kathir decides to motivate some talented boys near his saloon to become successful. They get a trim from Kathir and enter a dance competition adopting the name Singapore Saloon Gang. Word spreads about Kathir's saloon, and Singapore Saloon becomes the talk of the city, even getting support from Lokesh Khanna Garage. Anup visits Chakrapani with a blank check, but Chakrapani refuses Anup's offer since no one will sell their identity. On the day of the dance finals, the court decided to demolish Singapore Saloon over fears it might crumble like the flats. However, Kathir's perseverance, the parrots flocking to the saloon and support from the city people, including Lokesh and Jiva, lead to the Singapore Saloon Gang winning the dance finals and a halt in the demolition of Singapore Saloon. A few months later, the Singapore External Affairs Minister visited to inaugurate the Singapore Saloon opening, and Cha-Cha also visited the saloon's opening. Kathir and Bashir see him, and they have an emotional reunion. The film ends with Cha-Cha seeing the old box and giving Kathir a haircut.